How do you know when it's real?
It feels pretty real to me.
Yeah, it does.
Welcome back to Windy City Live, everybody. Well, you know him from Vampire Diaries, How to Get Away with Murder, and most recently, HBO's critically acclaimed series, Insecure. Kendrick Sampson joins us. Hey, Kendrick.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
Hey, Nathan. Hey,
I have to clarify, I'm not Nathan because, I've had people yelling at me in airports and at grocery stores and, hey, what's up, Nathan? And especially when he ghosted last year, everybody was like, where are you?
Right. Okay. So wait, hold up, Kendrick. We got to kind of fill Ryan in. Ryan is about to binge it and he's going to get on board. But the reason why Kendrick, look, I have to remember not to say Nathan, is saying this because Ryan, his character, Nathan, ghosted Issa on the season, like at the end of season 3. And so everybody's kind of like mad at Nathan, but now it's coming out that maybe Nathan has some depression going on, right? Or anxiety. Why don't you fill us in?
I mean, that's what I think was alluded to. He was saying that he was depressed and he just had a very hard time, as many men, especially Black men, do, navigating his feelings and expressing what happened and how he felt. And so there was an allusion to that made, my heart break because I'm like, I know he's trying to communicate something. I just don't know exactly what it is. And I have so many people in my life and I deal with anxiety and it's just hard to express a lot of times, especially Black men have like generational trauma and oppression and all types of stuff on top of just not having the tools in our society for mental health, to talk and express our mental health and have healthy, lives. It's just like, please help him.
Yeah, I'm going to ask a question for all the ladies out there because I Googled your name getting ready for this interview. Everybody wants to know if you are single. That's like the biggest talker I see online.
I am. Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say of course. I'm single. I've been single for a long time and I plan on being single for a long time.
Why? Why do you want to be single for a long time?
Oh man, there's so many reasons. But the main things is I travel a lot, especially for work and activism. And I have a nonprofit initiative called Build Power. And I dedicate so much of my time to those things that I don't want to, I don't want to have the responsibility of somebody else's feelings and because that is a responsibility. And time, but I don't even have that time for myself. I don't get no sleep. I'm trying to work on myself. But I try to be straightforward and, just say, I don't want to mislead anyone. I'm just, not trying to leave a wake of.
You're not trying to break hearts out there and just have them all out there tripping. That's just, come on, let's be real.
Well, I mean, part of it, and I'm not trying to get my heart broken either,
Oh, nice.
All right. Well, when the time is right and the stars align, it'll all work out. So, ladies, there's your answer for that. Let's talk about your activism and the fact that you touched on mental health because you've been very vocal about it and your own personal struggle with it. I just saw you on a promo on HBO saying it's okay to not feel okay. It's a big, big initiative.
It's okay if it's hard to find the words to express how you feel.
A lot of people right now are dealing with this in these times. Has it been difficult for you to open up and be public about it? Because we all know that, there is still a stigma with it, even though we're getting more educated as a society about it.
Of course, yeah. I mean, it's difficult just to talk about in life in general. I have had some of the same struggles that Nathan has had in communicating how I feel and what I'm feeling. Even right now, with all of the disproportionate effects on the Black community of COVID and the deaths of Sean Reed and Ahmaud Arbery and Breonna Taylor, it's like, compounded poor mental health and PTSD and trauma. and I have anxiety already, like severe anxiety that I have to deal with. And finding those words and finding the skills to cope with it and going to therapy and talking about therapy has been difficult. But what I have found is that when I realize my purpose is to leave this world better than I found it, and to leave people and every situation better than I find it, then when it's that information is purpose. I don't have to tell everything, but I have to just, I listen to my creator and I'm like, what should I reveal right now to help this person through and liberate this person, as my goal is always liberation.
How often do you get to Chicago?
I usually go once a year. At least once a year, and usually in the summertime. I've been there once on MLK Day to talk to, I think, University of Illinois, Chicago, yep. About the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. And I do not desire to come back in the winter. It is one of the best cities when it's warm. And I love the food and the culture and the people. I sincerely love Chicago. I've had some of my best times in Chicago.
Yeah, and we've had Issa Rae on the show too, early on when Insecure first started, and I actually had to sit down with her at UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago. So yeah, whenever you are back in town, you got to stop by. As Ryan said, we usually, pre-COVID, have a wonderful studio audience of Ryan, is it safe to say thirsty women? Is that too bad?
Well, no. we have a few cougars that will enjoy your company.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's better said. But anyway, we've got a lot of folks here that would love to see you in studio.
Oh, I would love to be there, of course. And I can't make a comment on your audience. I don't know your audience, but I love Chicago women, and yeah, that would be dope.
All right, well, thank you so much for your time, Kendrick.
Why is she such a hot mess?
She's just in a valley right now.
She needs to hurry up and get out of it.
Well, it took you a long time to get out of yours. Remember when you and Chuck went on that break and you accidentally cut your bangs too short?
Yeah, that was a dark period.
Welcome back to Windy City Live. Our next guest is one of the stars of BET's 20s and HBO's Insecure. Please welcome back to the show, Christina Elmore. Hey, girl.
Hey. Good to see you again.
It's so good to see you. We were just together, I feel like a month or so before.
I feel like a month ago, yeah, before the world changed. I saw you in real life.
Yes, and you were there with some of your co-stars from 20s.
Yeah.
On the first season being done.
Thank you so much. It went by so quickly. I feel like when I saw you, it hadn't even started airing, and now, boom, boom, it's done. But it was a great ride.
It is, and now the beauty of the quarantine, I don't know about you, we're going to get into how all our lives have changed, but now folks can binge it. So if they haven't seen it, they can see the whole season in one day, night, however you want to do it.
Yeah. Which is like the upside to this being at home is that I've seen a lot of television, and I'm like, it's research. That's what I told myself as an actor. It's just research.
And okay, so what's up with the soundtrack too? There's a soundtrack for 20s.
Oh, yes. So the soundtrack is being released as an actual soundtrack. You can listen on all your favorite listening devices and subscription programs. But the music on 20s, I feel like, was a whole character. It was so essential to how the story was told.
All you gotta do is say, do it.
And I don't know about you right now, I am finding that music is uniting us all during this pandemic. I mean, for sure, if we have nothing else, we have television and music. And so it's good for us to be able to have some of the old stuff, but then you're introducing us to some new art.
I think we realized that, like, in this pandemic, we're sort of realizing who's essential, and so many people that we weren't including in that, delivery drivers and servers and all kinds of things like that, and healthcare workers, of course, but also artists. Like, they're super essential to the way we live our lives. So musicians and actors and dancers, so much of how we sort of process all this is through entertainment. And so I think we're realizing so much is essential.
Yeah, and you're definitely in that. So how is quarantine and life at home? You have a 3-year-old, right?
I do. I have a 3-year-old. And it's, I didn't realize how much I would miss those 3 days of preschool. but also, and I think he misses it too, the normalcy of it and the routine of it. I think the first couple weeks we were just trying to live in and making the everyday work, and then we realized we needed a routine. So we have a little schedule. We do a lot of crafting. We're playing a lot. We're going to like empty fields since we can't go to parks and just running around. We're just making it work. And
you're doing what you can. Let me guess, is right now nap time?
Right now, he is out at a field with his father.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Perfect. So you're managing to squeeze in a little bit of me time somewhere throughout this pandemic.
Trying. I try to take a walk by myself every day just to have some time together and time apart.
I want to ask you about The Last Ship. That was one of your very first roles, and it was quite interesting that you were cast in that movie, which was based on a pandemic, right? On a ship. Yeah. And then now living it in real life.
It's crazy. So that show, the writers of it, you know, I think that they worked with a lot of epidemiologists and virologists to like sort of make this world where there's this pandemic and there's this Navy ship that's going to find the cure. And I think the people that they consulted with were all like, oh no, this is not an if situation. This is a when situation. And even for us as actors hearing that, we'd be like, oh, okay, sure. But it's so eerie that it's so parallel to the story we were telling. And the whole idea of even what's to come is that in a few months or years, whatever it is, if we don't have a vaccine, there are going to be people who are immune to it because they've had it before, or their bodies they're going to be asymptomatic. And the show dealt with that. And it's kind of creepy. But now TNT is re-airing the show.
Okay, so we got to talk about Insecure. Yeah. But also, you and I and Issa Rae all have something in common. We're all from Los Angeles.
Oh, yeah. So I think that's why this show, for me, I mean, I think everyone loves the show, but I've just loved seeing LA and my South LA on TV.
Yeah.
And like in a way that is not being like Hollywoodized. Do you know what I mean? This show is not about like showing, which I think is great. 20s is about the industry. I think that's great, but it's so nice to see a show about people who live in South LA who are loving and learning and doing all kinds of things. And so I think, Issa's really captured it, her home.
Back to the show. When did you, tell me about the process of you even getting on this show? Because you come in at the end of the 3rd season.
Yeah. And I come in and it seems like that character's just, you know, a nice little guest for a little bit and will go away. So I actually auditioned for the show, it was a couple of years ago, and I didn't hear anything for a month, and they were auditioning every Black girl I knew. So I was like, oh, great, hopefully one of my friends will get it. Right. And then I got a call that was like, no, you have a call back, and it's tonight, and the person who gets the role will start the next day. So literally, we had a call back. I think my call time for the audition was at 8 p.m. and it was a chemistry read with Jay Ellis, who plays Lawrence. And there were like 7 or 8 of us, and we were going in a room. It was kind of like The Bachelor. It was like you go in, you do your audition, then somebody comes out, they go to a secret room. Some people left and went home. You don't know who's going where. And by the end of the night, I think it was like 10:30 p.m. is when they're like, okay, it's going to be you, Christina. You'll need to be back here at 5:30 a.m. because that's your call time in the morning to get to work.
You're kidding me. Now, does that typically how it works?
No. I mean, things move quickly in all of this, but this is the fastest I've ever, and like the craziest, weird. I think it was because people had been out of town. They were in the middle of shooting. I don't know what happened, but it was crazy and it was a fun ride. And then to come back this season has really been such a blessing.
How did you even get your lines together between 10:30 at night and 5:30 the next morning?
Girl, you know what? God is good, because that part of it happens to be really easy for me, the line part. It was dealing with all of the nerves and like the costume fittings and the meeting all the people, because this is the first time I'm working on a show that I actually watched already and like was already obsessed with. So I normally am not nervous, but I was like, oh, hello. So the lines part was nothing. It was the nerve.
And how is it working with Issa Rae? I mean, just the whole cast and crew seems like they have such a realness. It almost doesn't feel like it's a show or acting. It just feels like you have a window into somebody's life.
Yeah, I think that's such a testament to the writing. The writers are so good. I mean, helmed by her and Prentice Penny, who's the showrunner, but all of the writers, it's such a diverse room. They are really writing from their real experiences. And so the actor's job is much easier because they get to just come in and speak this truth, it almost seems like. But everyone's great. They're all been very lovely and welcoming and so kind and so talented. It's been amazing.
I have to tell you, and tell me if I'm a bad mom to mom, be real with me, girl. I let my 17-year-old binge watch it with me this weekend. Is that bad?
You know what? Your 17-year-old is very close to adulthood, just 1 year out. This is just prepping them for what's to come. Yes. I mean, you guys could talk about the lessons learned, because some of these characters are making positive choices and some are making very negative choices. There's discussion. This sounds like homeschool to me. It sounds like you're killing it, Val.
I would ask you to tell me something that I don't know, but I know all you actors and actresses go, I can't, Val. But
I wish I could. I could just say that it's going to be a fun and bumpy ride. So, and there's 10 episodes this season instead of 8. So there's a little longer to figure it all out.
You're so lovely in person. And we just want to thank you so much for sitting
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Welcome back to Windy City Live. Our next guest is a stand-up comedian and an actress. You know her as Molly from HBO's Insecure, but she also has an HBO stand-up special called Mama, I Made It.
My mom, she leaves me voicemails all the time. This is your mother. Time waits for nobody. You are no longer a spring chicken. Happy birthday.
Please welcome Yvonne Orji. Hi, Yvonne.
How you doing?
I'm so excited to talk to you because I have to try to separate Molly from Yvonne. And I'm kind of struggling with that a little bit, because if you keep up with Insecure, Molly and Issa are not, feeling each other. Yeah, there's a little bump in the road in that friendship.
It was a roadblock, if you will. It's a boiling point in their friendship. I think things were brewing to that moment, and they had the moment, and now we are seeing the aftermath of that moment.
Right. It's so, listen, let's just talk about the show in general.
Issa and Princess and everybody that's associated with the show and all the writers, they have built a magnificent world.
They really have. And I feel like it's the realest world that we're seeing on TV right now for that genre. Don't you agree?
You know what? For everyone who lives in LA too, I feel, especially during this quarantine, they are like, hold on. So they just get to be out in LA. I know that taco spot. They just get to be out living their best life. Or, the last episode when we were, one of the last episodes when we were in Mexico, is like, why did they get a vacation? I don't appreciate this. And so it's kind of like we're showing like the world before Corona.
I know. It is kind of weird to watch all of these shows right now, and you're like, oh my God, they're hugging, they're touching, they're not 6 feet apart. You're like, what's the matter? It's making you, like, our current situation is making you look like just a month or two ago how foreign that seemed, right?
Listen, and now you're wondering, like, is Hollywood, sorry, I don't know what's happening, and I don't know if you hear this sound.
No, I can't.
Oh, great. But it's almost making you feel like, well, what will TV look like once we come out of this? Like, what will, like, are we going to write scenes where people hug anymore? Are we going to, are the handshakes, do we have to address post-corona tactics in Hollywood? Or can we just like make believe, since Hollywood is really make believe, that business as usual? I don't know.
That's a very good point. I hadn't even thought about it like that, but I hope they kind of do the make-believe war, because I still like that world. I miss that world. You were in Chicago right before the shutdown in February doing stand-up.
I did. Girl, I wish we'd have met you to come to the show. Just be like, hey girl.
You're good friends with Levy Ajayi, who's also been on our show, and we co-hosted together.
She and I do a podcast called Jesus and Jollof, and that is my homie. That's my bestie.
Yes, I heard about that. And next time you are in Chicago, I will be coming to your stand-up, whatever. Anything you're doing, I'm there.
Boom.
How did you like Chicago, though? How do you like coming to Chicago?
I only come to Chicago when it's warm. I'm not about this Windy City life. Okay, I know. God bless it, but I need a work. I did come we did a Jesus and Jollof live, and it was in July. Baby, I was feeling myself. I said, I understand Chicago a lot more now. It was sunny. The brown people was out. I had my shea butter, my oils, and my skin was glistening. I said, I could consider a summertime home in Chicago. For sure.
Oh, we do summer right in the Chi. Just don't come in the winter, but we got it going on in the summertime.
No, I would between the months of June and August 1st. Okay, because you got a small window. It's a small window. Yeah. I would split my time between New York and Chicago, because there is no place like New York in the summertime either.
Yeah, I hear that. We're not going to talk about New York. But anyway, I want to talk about this HBO special that you have out called Mama, I Made It. Okay, I'm sure it's based a lot on just your life. You're Nigerian, first generation Nigerian, right? And I love the pilot that you had with your show too, by the way, First Gen. Are we going to ever see that on?
Soon to come. Soon to come. We pray. We cross our fingers, we light a candle. Soon to come.
It's super funny. So anyway, talk about the special and then I'm sure how it relates to your life.
Yes. Well, Mama I Made It definitely is, it's like my love letter to my parents and to my two homes, if you will. Because HBO gave me the freedom to be able to go back to Nigeria to shoot the documentary element of the special. And it was also my way, because I talk about my parents a lot on stage, and to which they are not happy about. They are like, why do you keep talking about us? And I'm like, well, here is your opportunity for you to say whatever you want to say about me and how you really felt about the journey. So I give my parents an opportunity to kind of get their side out. It's kind of like, Molly had an opportunity to see her point of view. I'm like, let's see my parents' point of view. But I talk about growing up as a first generational immigrant in America, because immigration really kind of sometimes gets a bad rap. And especially Nigerians, you're like, hold up, we're great. So I highlight that. I talk about being single. I talk about, just this quest, trying to follow the dream. And then when you get the dream, it's like different things that change, and it's not what you would expect. It's like, the little blessings that you're able to get are the things that mean so much to you versus like the big things. So it was really just it was great to go back home to Maryland, DMV, and shoot the special there at the Howard Theater. And I can't wait for everyone to see it. It's funny because people are like, the girl from Insecure does comedy. And it's like, guys, I was doing comedy before Insecure.
Well, I'm telling you, as I was like, of course I know you from Insecure, but then I was reading up, I'm like, oh my gosh, she is super, super funny. I guess we don't see Molly as being, necessarily the comedic type, because she's—
Yeah, Kelly, the character of Kelly is more the like, the comedic. Like if Natasha Rothwell came out as a comic, people were like, it makes total sense. Molly's kind of like the straight-laced, she has jokes, but it's like in a jab, and it's like a slick, sly joke. So it's not like, performance based. It's very nuanced in her comedy. So I think switching the gears and being like, oh, when I come out, I'm dancing. I'm using all of me. There might be a DMX bark. We don't know.
Well, you have been so much fun to catch up with here this way. Hopefully, when this is over, we get on the other side of this pandemic. When you're in Chicago between June 1st and August 31st, you have to stop by Windy City Live in person.
I will definitely, because you know what you've inspired. I want some baby hair. I don't know how in the quarantine the baby hair is thriving, but ooh, you're giving me Johnny. Hey, Mr. DEJ, you're giving me Johnny. And I'm here for it. I didn't know that I wanted baby hair as much as I did before this call, but now you're gonna see me slick down my natural hair.
I got you. And all you need is a little conditioner. I don't even use gel, just a little conditioner. That's just a wash and go.
See, you got that 1B. I got that 4C. It might be a little different.
Yvonne, you are bringing the laughs today. Thanks again so much. And if you want to get more of Yvonne Orji, make sure that you check out her HBO special. But you can watch her every Sunday on Insecure alongside Issa on HBO. We'll be right back with more Windy City Live.